Itadori Yuji, the perfect protagonist written by Gege in Jujutsu Kaisen. At the start of JJK, Yuji wasn't Sukuna's enemy. He was just Sukuna's vessel. In fact, compared to characters like Gojo, Yuta, and Megumi, Yuji looked so ordinary. He didn't have any cursed techniques or energy, no knowledge of the Jujutsu. But by the end of the story, Yuji became the one person Sukuna feared the most. And the craziest part, Gege may have been building Yuji into Sukuna's perfect opponent from the very beginning. So how does Gege build a character that actually fooled the king of curses and defeated him? Even Gojo couldn't. From being the cage of Sukuna, becoming one of the biggest enemies. Let's explore. So before jumping into the exploration, we have to learn the perfect preparation of Yuji as a vessel for Sukuna. It was the mastermind of Kenjaku, an ancient sorcerer that was lived in Heian era. He is most talented in the soul manipulation and the knowledge of cursed energies. His only main goal is to create a world where the curses and humans can actually coexist. This idea seems good, but it isn't. Curses often dominates humans and they want to take over the entire world. So with the main motive, if Kenjaku wants to achieve his motive, he needs the king of curses. While Sukuna was already killed in the Heian era by the most powerful sorcerers, his soul was actually manipulated and made into his 20 real fingers, and they were scattered across Japan. When someone consumes his finger, Sukuna awakens in that body. But the problem is, there were no vessels for Sukuna. No human beings can bear the power of Sukuna. So Kenjaku wanted to create a perfect vessel for Sukuna, but it wasn't easy. He tried many ways. He created death paintings. He created many of the vessels. Everything failed or just God became into curses. And whenever Kenjaku is about to die, he goes with a brain transplantation with the another body who is actually dead. From this, he lived in the many of the people's body, notably Noritoshima Kamo, Yuji's mother Kaori Itadori, and at last now in Suguru Geto's body. When Kenjaku chose Kaori Itadori's body, it was the perfect body for him to produce the Sukuna's vessel. Because Yuji's dad, Jin Itadori, is the reincarnation of Sukuna's twin brother. Sukuna killed and ate his own brother in his mother's womb. And again, before Yuji born, Kenjaku placed Sukuna's finger inside Yuji's body, so Yuji could be turned out as a perfect vessel for Sukuna without any problem that happened previously. So that's why we couldn't see the last finger in the entire series, where Sukuna only consumed 19 fingers and he ate his own head because he couldn't find the 20th finger where it was really in the body of Yuji. Now with these perfect preparations, Yuji became the perfect vessel for Sukuna, and even in the childhood, Yuji had immense physical strength. He can run faster than any normal humans and he had 10 times more strength than other humans. This was because he already consumed one of Sukuna's fingers before even born. So now let's explore into the main story where Yuji became the cage of Sukuna. Megumi came to Yuji's school to investigate one of the Sukuna's fingers were appeared there. But unfortunately, Yuji had found it and he gave it to his friends, where they actually running a otaku club where they just research about ghosts and some curses. When Yuji's friends unsealed Sukuna's fingers, there are a lot of curses have attracted them and Megumi and Itadori had to go to the place to save them. But things have took a wrong turn, where Yuji had to aid Sukuna's finger to protect Megumi and his friends. This is the moment where the king of curses, Ryomon Sukuna, awakened after 1000 years into the modern era. When everyone thought Yuji would become a monster or lose control, instead something impossible happened. Yuji learned how to suppress Sukuna. No one can believe it because Sukuna is more powerful than any other sorceress except Satoru Gojo. Even though still a normal kid who doesn't even know what about cursed energy still learned how to control Sukuna, and this was our first clue where Gege gave it. While other people would have been completely taken over, Yuji was able to keep Sukuna trapped inside his body forever. But Sukuna really hated this. From day one, Yuji wasn't just a vessel for Sukuna, he became literally caged. Whatever Sukuna tried to escape from Yuji, he couldn't. Sukuna tried many times to take over Yuji's body, but the one time it happened. In the mission of Cursed Worm Elimination, where Yuji and his friends were sent to eliminate the Grade 2 curse, Yuji was killed by the Cursed Worm and Sukuna just took over his body, and at last Sukuna challenged Megumi that he doesn't need Yuji to live, and he ripped out Yuji's heart. And when everyone thought Yuji was dead, and Sukuna made a binding vow with Yuji to give him a minute of control over Yuji's body, while Sukuna will help to protect Yuji's entire life. And here Sukuna did something tricky, that even Yuji forgot this binding vow. When he came back to life. Even if the binding vow has been made, if the user forgot it, there's no problem, they can actually break the rules. And Sukuna used it wisely. But Gege gave a real checkpoint here, because Sukuna thought he is the trickiest person here by making Yuji to forget the binding vow, but really he just dug out his own grave by protecting Yuji's entire life. Even in the Shibuya incident where Sukuna took over Yuji's body at the second time where Yuji gone into unconscious moment, Sukuna really gave the body back to Yuji, but even without Sukuna's knowledge, Yuji learned Sukuna's word. For months, Yuji shared the body with the King of Curses. He experienced Sukuna's cursed energy, his presence and the way he existed. He learned everything about Sukuna. He learned how dangerous Sukuna. Whenever Yuji was about to die, Sukuna could take over his body and he could do whatever to protect Yuji. That was actually a binding vow. And even with this, Sukuna gave something even without a knowledge, that is the soul connection. As the story progressed, Yuji began understanding souls better than almost everyone. This wasn't random at any point, because Yuji and Sukuna shared the same body. Yuji could sense things that other sorcerers couldn't. Even in the fight of Gojo vs Sukuna, Gojo really couldn't know how to hit Sukuna's soul directly. He hit Megumi many times. That's why Sukuna actually killed Gojo, because Gojo couldn't go fully against Sukuna, and this actually gave Yuji a greater advantage, and here really Gege made the entire story to the support of Yuji instead of Sukuna. But another thing Sukuna did without his own knowledge is he gave Yuji some power-ups. Every upgrade had a purpose. Black Flash, one of the rarest techniques in Jujutsu Kaisen, where almost no sorcerers can do it. Even though sorcerers like Gojo can do it, but not again and again like Yuji did it. His physical strength, it was a gift from Kenjaku. It allowed him to keep up with monsters. Even if Yuji's cursed energy runs out, he can keep up with monsters with his physical ability. Blood manipulation, the gifted technique for only the Kamo clan, but Yuji learned it, how to use it from Chosu. And here, there's a theory that Yuji got blood manipulation technique because of Kenjaku was in Norito Shimokamo's body and reverse curse technique. One of the best techniques in Jujutsu Kaisen so far. Whenever Yuji gets damaged, he can regenerate easily without any problem. Sukuna actually created his own opponent without his own knowledge, and eventually these all led Yuji to awaken his shrine. Looking back, these upgrades weren't just making Yuji stronger alone, but they were preparing him for one specific opponent, the King of Curses, Ryomen Sukuna. Here, Gege really showed us with a real-world example. Even though you tame lion or tiger as your own baby from their birth, but still they are wild animals. They could hunt you anytime if they want. And that's what Yuji did it with Sukuna, the irony. The biggest irony in Jujutsu Kaisen is that Sukuna helped create the person who would defeat him. If Sukuna had never entered Yuji's body, Yuji might never have developed his understanding of souls. Yuji would be with zero cursed energy, zero cursed knowledge, zero Jujutsu knowledge. He would be a normal kid without any problems or becoming one of the strongest sorcerers in the modern era. Sukuna just helped Yuji. He brought Yuji from just being a normal vessel to becoming one of the strongest sorcerers that can actually defeat the King of Curses. Even Gojo couldn't, but Yuji did it somehow. The very relationship Sukuna hated became the reason for his own downfall. Here, Gege really wrote one of the best stories in history. We all complained Gege for not using the potential of Jujutsu Kaisen, but still, Yuji's character growth is alone enough to make you think that Gege is actually one of the best story writers in the history. Yuji didn't become Sukuna's greatest enemy overnight. He was built, he was made for it, and even Sukuna taught Yuji himself how to defeat him. Maybe Yuji wasn't just Sukuna's vessel, maybe he was always meant to be Sukuna's end. If you really love this video, make sure to subscribe my channel and like this video. Share this to your friends because sharing is caring. And if you wanna find it, what if Yuji had 10 shadows technique, then click this video to watch it, and I will meet you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.